Good morning or good afternoon from wherever you are tuning in. My name is Angeline Constantino. I am the founder and CEO of Let's Break the Silence with Angeline, where each week we share real life stories of women who have broken their silence on trauma, on domestic violence, and who are amplifying their voices and stepping into their own power and truth. So please like and subscribe to my podcast on Spotify for podcasters, Google, Apple, and all the live streams. And secondly, stay in the know. So, want to continue to receive resources that will equip and empower you on your healing journey. Stay in the know with news and promotions. So please go to my website, which is letsbreakthesilence.com, and you will receive weekly emails of announcements, new podcast episodes, resources, and upcoming workshops. So without further ado, I would like to I am going to be bringing on a very special guest today. And we had the pleasure of meeting on TikTok. And her name is Shalon. And so let me go ahead and introduce her. So Shalon was born on March 28th, 1977 at the Queen of Angels Hospital in Echo Park area of Los Angeles, California. She never really got to know her birth mother as she left me when I was 2 years old. She never raised me, and there was a lot there. There was one time when I was 7 where I briefly met her, but that didn't work out as she put me in a dangerous situation. She has survived being molested twice in her life and survived being bullied in her childhood really bad. And in her early adulthood, she was beaten up by ex-boyfriends and survived a federal felony charge, which almost killed her. And that would kill me too. And there were also sparks of great times in her life that happened as well. She worked in a recording studio, and even though her manager boyfriend, who was abusive to her, one time he was out of state, and she met Maya and Nandy McLean. These were, you ready? Prince's last backup twin singers and dancers. She met Prince in December of 2005, and she had nearly a 4-hour conversation. There is so much about Shalon that she will share today of what she endured and how what she could do best to empower others. So, without further ado, I am bringing on Shalon. Hello.
Hi, Angeline. Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
Oh,
Thank you
you're
for tuning
welcome.
in.
You're welcome.
Um,
It's such a pleasure to have you here, Shalon. And we had the pleasure of connecting on TikTok, which is, social media. We are able to connect from all over the world and all over the country without having to actually fly to that location unless it's a live event. So, Shalon, first question I want to ask you, what is the time now where you are?
it is 9:35 a.m. I am in Southern California. I study anthropology, emphasis on archaeology and law and society at the University of California, Riverside. I got asked by the archaeology department at my school. They wanted me to go to archaeology field school in Ecuador next year. So that's the Ecuadorian rainforest where I have to live for 4 months, and I have to get physically ready to deal with that terrain.
Right.
I found a trainer right now, so to get me started on that path and then going forward. So we'll see where that goes. Really, that's about it. How I have risen from the ashes of despair. And I'm going to start with this quote before I get into my story, is that hope is the strongest weapon ever used to overcome trauma. So
I agree.
I make that up in my head from my deepest despairs. But Angeline, I'm ready to go. Do you have any other questions for me?
Yes, I do. Actually, I'm live in my private Facebook group, which is Domestic Violence for Healing and Empowerment. So we have a Facebook user. Please let me know what your name is. Hello, both of you beautiful queens watching in South Africa. Oh, I know who it is. Fumiza. And I had the pleasure of meeting her. Remember, we were talking about that I had flown to South Africa. So she's from South Africa and she's tuning in live from Port Elizabeth. This is what I'm saying, everyone. This is the power of social media, is to be able to spread our message of hope, encouragement, empowerment. There you go. Right. Yes, my friend. Absolutely. Okay, so go on. Because I know that I'm sure this story is not easy for you to share,
No
especially
story
what
is easy.
happened. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Your early childhood life. That's not easy.
It wouldn't be easy for anyone. But I like
Mm-hmm.
the title of your show, Break the Silence, because this is what we have to do. In order to heal, in order to transform, we actually have to break the silence, and thank everyone for tuning in to this. And hopefully this helps you and heals you and gives you hope. And that's why I want to do this. Okay, just like when Angelina read my bio, I was born March 28th, 1977, at the Queen of Angels Hospital. That's no longer a hospital anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's located in the Echo Park area of Los Angeles, California. Right, actually, Echo Park, Hollywood area. My birth mom was Sandra Lynn Kennedy, and my father's Jerry Lee Turner. When I was born, my dad, I don't know when he met my mom exactly the time frame, but they met at a disco. My dad was younger then, outgoing, and when he got involved with my birth mom, he found out that she was still legally married to her first husband, Jimmy Jimenez. He's from Cuba, and that deemed me from my family line. My family line is a very strong Christian baseline. So, and back in the 70s, it wasn't popular, especially for the African American community in the United States, to just pop and have abortions in that particular time. So I was born not only out of wedlock, but I was kind of considered the bastard. So I don't know if you understand the roles of the family, but there's some roles of the family. You have the hero, the mascot, and then I was the scapegoat. Everything was all my fault, even though it was not my fault. And I mentioned that to go into why I was never sheltered or protected when I went through all the abuse I went through as a child. And that was hard on me. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I heard stories of my birth mom, many of them. She never told me anything about her stories. And I just don't, I mean, I didn't have a connection with her. To be clearly honest, I never had a mother figure in my life. When my dad remarried with my stepmom, she just did the bare minimum, but never nurtured me, never gave me confidence to how I can be the best woman that I can be in this world. So I'll start from my story from the beginning, and then I'm going to tell you how through all of this I've transformed, and how, of course, how I got to know Prince, and work in the entertainment industry. So let me start from the beginning. Okay, so, all right, so my dad divorced my birth mom when I was 2. And from the stories I heard, what did it was my birth mom set her apartment or something on fire and left me in the room. So Child Protective Services had to come and get me and all of this stuff. This is just what I'm hearing. And after that, my dad took me on and raised me. The first time, and I'm trying to say this with power and encouragement without triggering. So, my first podcast, forgive me. So, my first time I had to deal with a fight and a battle with a grown man. I was 5 years old. So, my dad was dating my stepmom at this time. I didn't know what they were doing exactly. I was a kid. So, I have older cousins in my family, older cousins older than me. So, one of my older cousins, she was 23, and she was babysitting me, and her boyfriend was 27. And my other younger cousin, 9 months younger than me, he fell asleep. So I was playing with dolls, and I saw a trampoline in the living room of my older cousin's boyfriend's house. And I wanted to go play with the trampoline. Now I'm 5 and I want to be a kid and lively. And he got really mad that I pulled it out. And he said it like this: "Don't you touch my trampoline!" And then got really mad, snatched it from my hands, and he pushed me down so hard that I flew off my feet and I hit the wall. I got really, really scared, and I tried to just go outside with my dolls. And then he grabbed me again, picked me up my feet, and threw me back again at the wall. That was my first fight with a grown man. Yeah. Sorry, I pick at my hands when I get nervous. So.
Okay, take your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, yeah. That obviously you're a 5-year-old child, and what do you do in those situations? Whew, okay, not much. So my cousin was scared that her boyfriend will go to jail or she will lose her boyfriend. So she told me, don't say anything, and if you tell, I'm going to get in trouble. And this started this pattern of behavior of being abused by men. So that was my first battle with the grown man. And I've been through therapy, and when I talked to my therapist about that incident, I said I should have tried to fight. And then he said, what could you have done? And that's hard to accept, the fact that I was completely victimized here in that instance, and I didn't say anything. And at that time, in those days, my dad was still single, so by the age of 4, I knew how to fully bathe myself. So my dad didn't even notice the bruises on my hips because I bathed myself, put my nightgown on, and went to sleep and called it a day. The next battle I went through with a grown man, this was a stranger. This was at Ventura Pier in Ventura, California, 1983, sometime late spring. I just know it was then. I was 6 years old and I was roller skating, and there's a little pathway where you can roller skate and stuff like that. Still exists today, but 1983, things were different back then. And I didn't see a man. He was on a bicycle, and I ran into him. And when I ran into him, I fell down, and he got really mad at me. And he literally said this, and I will edit the cuss words, but he got really mad at me. He called me, "You stupid effing bitch," like really mad. And watch where you're effing going, like literally cussed me out. My skate was still in the part of the wheel of his bike. He just like yanked it, and I just saw a lot of red in his face and eyes, and I thought he was going to hit me. So my father heard it with my stepmom, but he didn't go to approach me until the man left. And once the man left and everything, then my dad said, "You just need to watch where you're going. People get upset, and you have to pray for them." Again, my father never defended me. Never at least approach the man to tell him, "No, this is wrong. You don't cuss at my daughter." So you guys get to know the story where this goes. Not only that I had a mother that nurtured me, I didn't have a protective father. And so that was really bad. Then there was a period of time with me and my other younger cousin, and we experienced this trauma together. We had our older cousins, and these older cousins were 16, 17, and 19. And they created a game, and this is, again, when I'm age 6, called Hot Grease Games, where you would have to run, and they would find you, and they would make sure they get the hottest bacon grease from the stove, or just hot oil that bubbles. They'll either put it in a cup or use a spoon, and if they catch you, they'll dump it or flick it on you. And that was the game. That game finally stopped after I had blistering scars on my wrist, and my dad had to take me to the doctor. Then he said stop, because he had no choice, and at the time when he had to take me to the doctor, he had to pay a copay. So it cost him money to deal with me, and that's when he stepped in. And in that case, so I've again survived even more abuse. Moving forward into this, and I'm skipping forward to 2, but I have endured numerous amount of whippings that were not even my fault. And in my family, there was such thing called layaway whippings, where if you didn't pay attention to the teacher in class, you didn't get a good score on your homework, or simply because you didn't make your bed right, you may not get a whipping then, but you're going to get a whipping later. So imagine a 4, 5, and 6-year-old, and they're going to forget about this situation. Then something like 2 or 3 weeks later, especially when my aunts did this. Remember that whooping you were supposed to get? Then I got the whooping. So I had a lot of layaway whoopings. as a young child. Going into when I was 7, one of my older cousins, he was 26 years old, and he stole my first sexual experience from me. I got my hair in braids for a first time, and sorry, I have to take a pause. So
It's okay. It's okay. Take your time. 'Cause I know it's not easy. It's okay. It's okay.
So okay, I was getting my hair in braids by the first time for my younger cousin, and I was staying at one of my aunt's house, and I was sleeping on the couch, I was just sleeping, I guess. And then, and I remember at the time when I was 7, I was big on strawberry shortcake, and Rainbow Bright was coming out, so I was really excited about that, so I was in my strawberry shortcake nightgown, and he woke me up, and he got on top of me. And I thought at first, like, he was trying to wrestle or something. I didn't know. And it gets really worse from there. It gets bad from there. I felt this warm something coming off my belly. I didn't know what it was. It looked like Play-Doh to me, like weird clear Play-Doh. And it was gooey. After that made me really weird. I started to become isolated as a child. Sorry, I'm trying to hold back the tears. So I became more isolated as a child, a little bit, and just more isolated. It was hard. It was getting harder for me to make friends. And then I didn't tell my dad that, because at the time when my older cousin did this to me when I was 7, because he said if I told, I would get in trouble. So it's always about getting in trouble, when you're a kid. I did learn to play the flute when I was 8, so that's a positive thing. And I did a lot of camping and stuff, so there's at least some positive windows through all of this. And I'm very grateful for them. I learned a lot from camping and playing the flute, and I learned to compose music and all that stuff, and a lot of singing. So I'm grateful for that. In school, I have been bullied. So the next time I got bullied from older boys, by the way, I've never been in fist fights or anything with girls. It's always been older boys or men that have put their hands on me.
Okay.
So just to let you know.
Okay, I appreciate. So it was just with older men and boys, no women.
No, none at all.
This is not easy, and Fubiza says we know it's not easy for you, Superwoman. See, it isn't easy. It's not easy sharing your story. It isn't. And I give you so much credit
No,
for breaking your silence. I really do.
thank you. No, it's not. It's not. It's not easy sharing um, these type of stories, or just with anyone. It brings up a lot of things, but I don't want to take too long, so I'll go forward with it, and then I want to go to how I actually endured and survived.
Yeah, how did you survive and what tools did you incorporate? Like what strategies or tools did you incorporate to rise above from all this trauma? Because that's a lot of trauma. A lot of trauma, and how you're empowering other women.
A lot of prayer, a lot of faith, and a lot of hope. You have to have hope because without it, you won't make it. You have to continue to have compassion because I realize all of my abusers are beyond sick. Their soul is sick. And you have to have compassion in this world. One of my heroes is Nelson Mandela, and all of the great things that he has done for the nation of South Africa and just the world. If he endured 25 years in prison, I know I can endure this. If I just remember to have hope. And he was really big on that. So that was that. I had teachers that were abusive to me. And I had a situation where teenage boys, they were in high school. I remember because they had Oxnard High sweats on at the time, and I was in the 5th grade, so that makes me 11 years old at the time. And I ran from them, but they pushed me down and they started kicking me, and one of them punched me in the face. So that was the first time I actually ever got punched into the face by an older boy. So I come home with the black eye, and my dad said what happened, and I told him that these boys jumped me, and he said, well, boys will be boys, and he just disregarded it. I'm not kidding. I wish I could tell you something different, but I tell the truth. So he just disregarded it. He didn't do anything. Then I had teachers that told me make like horseshit, hit the trail. I had one teacher got mad because I wet my book because at the time when I was in school, you have book covers and it was a brown paper bag and you can draw on it and stuff on the brown paper bag. Well, water got on it and it wet the book and he got really mad and he banged on the desk and he said, don't you mess up my book, you effing B. That's exactly what he called me. I was in the 6th grade at the time. And these are all fights with grown men and then older teen boys. Then 13 was also very worse. I inboxed you a week ago that I was going through something, and this is a part of it. So I'm gonna.
Okay, and so what happened? Yeah.
Well, when I was 13, I got molested again by my step cousin really bad. This time, my dad had me and my younger cousins. They were 8 and 9 years old at the time, and I was 13. And they were witnesses, and they saw what their stepfather did. And my dad had to call the police, but then the police report just dropped. And so this man sexually brutalized me really bad. I'm very protective of everyone on here because for me to describe it would make you sick. This is why I have issues with sex. After that happened to me, I just didn't want really nothing to do with it. It was a hindrance in my life, and I just wanted to be left alone. And this past week, he used his daughter, which is my second cousin, to reach out to me, and I had to take all my strength and tell this monster. I had to tell him, I don't exist to you. You don't contact me, and if you do again, I will find and pull up all of the police reports from 1990 that my father did, and I will put a restraining order against you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Fumisa, she writes, I love you, and we love you. We love you. You are so strong, my angel. This is beyond measure from a young age. You never had mother's love. You are a strong woman. You are a very strong woman to endure all of this and not to have love from your own mother. I mean, and all that you endured, all the abuse that you endured. You're a strong woman. Look at this.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for being patient with me. I don't mean to pause so much, but when I talk about this, it is...
It's okay. It's not easy, like I said.
No, it's not. And thank you, everyone, for bearing with me here. But yeah, I stood up to him, and I had to stand up to him last Tuesday for the final time over the phone. He tried to use his daughter to get a hold of me. I'm like, you don't understand. This man should be in prison for what he has done to me. Because if I was to describe what he has done, it will make you sick, Angeline. It would make you sick. What I had to see as a small little girl would make anyone sick.
Using his daughter as a pawn. That's totally wrong.
She was innocent. She was just a baby. It wasn't her fault. But I had to fight that battle. So last week again, I'm fighting another man again. When does it end for me? When does it end? I've been waiting for it to end. I'm sorry.
No.
But it's ongoing. It's ongoing. It's just too much. Everything was taken from me. I was supposed to have a normal and healthy sexual experience, and it was ripped from me. If we can say it's not fair, but it's life. And there are monsters in this world. And we have to do the best we can to do everything we can to stop them. So, yeah. So I faced him and last week, and then of course when I was 13, like I said, that was bad. High school, it finally stopped. There was a senior, goes by the name of Sebastian. He stood up for me when I was a freshman. I was about to get jumped in by high school boys, and him and his younger brother came out to my defense, and they said, you leave her alone, you stop it. And then, so he was the first young teen, actually the only ever one in my life that came to my defense and defended me. And I'm forever grateful for him for that. After high school, in my early 20s, I wanted to get into the entertainment industry and music. I'm kind of skipping here. I was in marching band in high school a little bit, just stay in activities so I wouldn't get abused again.
Good,
Um,
good.
so
That's the
there
best
was,
thing. Music heals the soul. It heals the mind, body, and soul. Good move.
and I made it. I made it in the marching band, and I was excited about that. And we did go to Hawaii my junior year in high school, so that was really cool. Um, and so music always stuck with me. I love to write songs. I love to sing. I studied when I was in high school for vocals. I worked at a store called Bonnie's Novelty. This is downtown Main Street in Ventura. I saved up some money to take vocal lessons. There was a lady, she was an older lady. She graduated from Juilliard in 1968. And she taught me how to use my voice and sing. And that's kind of how I learned to sing. I learned to sing a lot of Broadway and different things. And I have recordings and stuff I can share. But in my 20s, I really want to work in the music business. I thought I could be a good singer, I could be a good producer, and I could be just a good musician and do this. Well, I ran into my manager, and at first he was much older than me. So I was 23 and a half, and he was 49 at the time. So he was much older. And again, not getting the signs of older men, like not getting it because it was just going on. And so at first everything was okay. He had a studio, I worked out of it, and I met some really cool people. There was a rapper called Donnie Ray. She went to the Grammys in 2004, I believe. Still a friend of mine. Met her. I met Darren Jackson, who was one of Snoop Dogg's engineers that assisted engineering on when a Snoop Dogg's hit, Drop It Like It's Hot. That's how I met that circle. And then the first abuse happened where my manager beat me up so bad that I nearly had a busted nose. I had this time 2 black eyes and just bruises all over my body. And he kept me away from a lot of my family and friends. And a lot of them can attest to this, that they haven't heard from me in like almost 2 years. There's one brief period that my dad didn't know really where I was. Actually, he didn't know where I was at all. And my manager just kept me from my friends and family. So I had to do what he says. And if I didn't do what he says, he would get angry and he would hit me. I had to always, of course, keep up with my appearance. So if, again, I didn't do what he says, he would hurt me, like really bad. And I didn't want to get hurt. I just wanted to do music and figure out a way to get out. Me and Andy McLean, I met them in 2005 when I was 28, and they were 22 at the time, somewhere around there. And they came over to the studio, but at this time, I stayed there to work because I had 2 clients I had to work with. And my manager was out of town. He was supposedly fixing recording studios or doing something like that or building them. I don't know. And I worked with them, and this is the time when they met me. In the beginning, they didn't see any of the bruises because they were gone. And so I kind of helped work with them with learning to produce music, helping them with their harmonies for their vocals. And then their agency called them that they got a gig being Prince's backup singers and dancers. So that was a big win for all of this. And I'm bringing this up. Yes, I'm bringing this up for a very, very powerful reason. So again, I'm 28 years old. This is in the summer. And then later on in early December of that year, Prince held a private party at the House of Blues. There's like paparazzi would be outside.
Wow.
They suspected that it was him. And only 20 people were invited. And I was one of the 20. Mia and Nandy invited me. And I sent a picture with you. The girl in the middle is their other friend, Sarah, that they invited. And they invited me to the House of Blues. And when I walked in there, at first, for like the first 5-10 minutes, I didn't even see Prince. So I'm thinking, oh, he's just hosting some little event. You know, I didn't know.
Well, right, there you go. I've been to the House of Blues, by the way. I've been there. Yeah.
So, I mean, these are the happy moments you have to share. Then he came out and Prince is not what you expect. This man is serious. He is serious about his business. He is serious about his art. And he is so knowledgeable on becoming successful. Like, it's beyond amazing. Okay. So at this particular time, I just have survived before my manager left out of town, getting beat up by him and his son 2 weeks prior to meeting Prince. And I don't know what kind of energy field Prince has, but after 20 minutes of talking, he said, wait a minute, let me talk to you a little bit more. And he noticed the signs, and he asked me, are you okay?
Okay.
And it was kind of like out of random. And I'm like, I'm fine. He's like, no, not that okay. Like, he wanted to make sure that I was actually physically okay. And I guess he said I could pick up the signs. You're very frigid around men.
He picked that up. He was very intuitive. Wow.
He picked it up pretty fast, and I'm like, I'm okay. And then, because I've gone through so much, I couldn't even figure out how to seize that opportunity with meeting a world icon. It's like not many people get to sit and talk with a world icon for almost 4 hours and then not seize a major opportunity.
Oh my goodness.
This is how bad trauma is. So, I just wanted to get him okay because I didn't want to talk about it. So we talked about music, kind of what I do, and had my flute at the time. Started playing it, and everything. He liked me. He liked me a lot. He thought I was really cool. At the end, though, he told me, when you are ready, he said these words to me. Number one, he told me, in life and in business, you have to confirm and know your identity who you are, and then he told other lessons like, the basic ones like don't let anyone push over you and stuff like that. He also talked about how the music business will evolve past the digital world, into other things and stuff like that, regards to music business. But because this man he's very smart. A devout Jehovah's Witness, that is true. And that is true. And very, very straight man. Yeah, very straight.
And I'm a huge Prince fan. But I'm a huge Prince fan. Yet you had the pleasure of meeting him and like befriending him and really, really getting to know him personally. But the fact that he said, confirm your identity, that really strikes a chord with me.
Okay.
Yeah, that strikes a chord when he said that. It's important to confirm your identity. And Prince is a genius.
He is. He is.
I was so sad when he passed away, when he went to go live with the Lord. Very sad.
Well, obviously, I've only talked to him for like 4 hours.
That's a lot.
But he did like me, and he gave me knowledge that when I'm fully ready to reclaim my power, is what he said to me, you're going to soar in what you do. And it took years after that, because I've gone through another abusive relationship and another abusive relationship. And a part of me wished if I would have just told him what was going on, how would my life change? But then again, I was afraid to tell him what's going on because I didn't tell me and Andy what was going on, and I didn't want to ruin their opportunity. So the mindset back then was a lie. It wasn't their battle. These girls needed to elevate up. You know what I mean? Because he's Prince. You can find any other twins, that could have backed him up and been like, okay, this is way too much drama. And that's how we learn in the music industry. Like, you don't let these celebrities know your traumas and dramas like that. But now, reflecting back, he actually was really trying to help me. And
yes, he was.
I didn't know how to see that.
Would you say that was your turning point?
Yeah, that was one of my biggest turning points of like, this is something's wrong. And I wanted to get away from my manager, and I was packing my bags one time. And the countless times I've talked with Detective Keller at the Los Angeles Police Department is astonishing. Because I was packing up, and then of course, this is after 5 days after I met Prince, and then my manager came back a day before this happened, but he got mad at me because I was leaving him, and he beat me up again that I wasn't going anywhere. So 10746 Outland View Drive in Sun Valley, California. That was a horrible, horrible, horrible experience for me. At that particular time. And he's like, you're going out of town and you're coming with me. And I'm putting a boat in your name and you're going to do it. And I'm like, a boat? Like, I don't know. At the time, I'm thinking a boat. I'm in pain. I'm going through all of this. And this is where the federal case evolves. So he, unfortunately, my manager was doing some illegal activities. I don't know. He was doing a lot of dealing of illegal drugs between different borders. I don't understand this. I've never been arrested in my life. I never had a misdemeanor. Didn't even have a speeding ticket. None of this stuff. So he had me go with him. Actually, I had to drive his car from Sun Valley, California, all the way up to Anacortes, Washington.
Wow.
And so I did, and he put in my trunk, he said, don't touch it, don't open it. This is going to be for our clients and all this stuff. He made a pit stop using my social security and different things and all of that and my other signature to solidify a boat. This is the vessel that went out on the water in my name. Okay. So I am scared going through all of this, and having I would never say having sex with him, because he would be like my ex-manager. He was born like mid to end October 20th, so to speak. Yep. He would be like, to be honest, you guys, I've never had pleasurable sexual experience with any man in my life. I don't know what that's like. The man's opened a car door for me, or even bought me flowers, or even treated me right. I've never experienced that in my life. So I don't know what that's like, you know?
I understand how you feel. You know what I say? Start buying yourself flowers every week and love on yourself. Because when you love on yourself, you could do it. You could do it. If I could do it, you could do it. And everyone else here could do it. Buy the flowers for yourself. I just bought a beautiful bouquet of flowers on Sunday. It's Thanksgiving week, and I buy myself flowers every single week. And love on yourself, because when you love on yourself, you will be able to love on others, and you will be able to attract the right people in your life. And I say this in my coaching programs. I say this on my podcast. This is part of what I teach in my coaching, is loving on you and healing, because healing from trauma is not easy. It's a process. It's unpeeling those layers, because I was conditioned too. It was no different for me. No different for me. I was thrown against the wall, had a broken nose, black eyes, bruised up, in the ER all night long on IV, because I thought that I was not going to make it. But God said, no, you're going to live. You're going to get through this. The rest of it's history. So, Shalon, I give you so much credit, and I give you, because we're coming up on the top of the hour, but I give you so much credit. There's just your story is going to impact so many lives. It's going to impact so many young women out there who are suffering. I mean, but you came out of it. You came out of it.
I did, and you're right. Yeah. I didn't realize the times. Sorry, I'm not very good with time when it comes to this.
You're fine. That's okay.
long story short, I'm stuck on this boat with my abuser, and we're meeting with these Canadians. And what he had me drive from Sun Valley all the way to Anacortes, Washington, and to be delivered on the boat was over $3.8 million worth of cocaine. I've never did that in my life. And they got away with that, and then the Canadians brought over $385,000 worth of marijuana. I never saw a dime of this money. I don't know who these people are, because he was setting me up just in case if he takes the fall, but he won't take the fall, I'll take the fall, and that's why he put the vessel in my name. So when we did get busted, Agency ICE, again, I've never been arrested in my life. They shackled me down, boom, 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 pushed me down to the ground, shackled me down, and I got interrogated by the U.S. government.
Oh, jeez.
So on top of surviving abuse and stuff like that, there is and I'll send you a copy of it. I'll DM you a copy of it.
Yes, please.
It literally states the United States of America versus Shalon Turner. Never been arrested in my life. Anything. So I was in FDCC TAC, which is the Federal Bureau of Prisons located in Federal Way, Washington State. So every state has a Federal Bureau of Prison. Since this all happened in Washington State, I got put in the FDCC TAC. So I was there for 2 weeks. Never been to prison in my life, and they were already trying to do things. And prison is crazy. People get raped in prison. People get murdered in prison. So they were already basically planning my death. And at that moment, this is when I really connected my connection with God. I just started praying as best as I can. And it was hard to eat those 2 weeks. I dropped like 24 pounds because I just couldn't eat right. Not get enough nutrition. But finally, God sent an angel in the form of my attorney that's pro bono.
Right.
And he was an advocate for me. He said, there is no way this woman could have done any of this stuff. I'm 31 at the time when this was happening. And they figured out I didn't do it. They started off with 3 years of probation only after the 2 weeks in prison. The only reason why they gave me that, because I didn't call the cops or something. I don't know. It was something like that. But they found out that I had nothing to do with my ex-boyfriend. He's in prison right now. So
thank God, thank goodness.
Yeah, the Judge Peckman gave a lifetime restraining order. He could never be around me.
That's good. That's good. Justice was served.
Yeah, it was. And I'm finally filling out all the paperwork to fully get exonerated, to fully reclaim everything back. So it's coming together. And to conclude, you guys, how I, even though I'm coming off as like a lot, but how I have endured and survived all of this, is because I had to learn to take a stand for Shalon. I had to learn to be strong for Shalon Latrice Turner. And getting to say I'm not a bad person. I'm a good person. I'm worth living. I am worth living. And starting with the basics there, and of course getting the help that you need, but starting with those basics will get you there. You're going to run into a lot of people that are not ready to reclaim their power, and they'll try to take you down on their sinking ship. And I'm sharing this with everyone who listens to this podcast, including you, Angeline. You can't let them do that. They have to learn to stand up on their own 2 feet and fight their battles. I've never had the damsel in distress where some women get all this protection, maybe by older brothers, don't have those, and their boyfriends are men. I never had that kind. I had to defend and fight my own battles. And when you learn to do that, you learn to have a certain strength that will push you through. Another thing is you need to find what you love and your passion in life and pursue it and be diligent about it. And don't let anyone hold you back, including yourself, or stop you. And that's how I have reclaimed who I am and my power. And that's really all I have for you women out there that are still feel like you're stuck. I felt the same way too. Don't let it get to where you would end up in a situation where I was, because it was by the grace of God I survived that whole federal case. And it was bad, especially from someone that grew up in suburbia, that I don't have gang affiliations. I don't do that kind of stuff. So, especially from someone that is coming from a different way of life, don't allow yourself to be caught up in situations where you may never get out. Reclaim your power and stand your ground. And that's all I have.
I love it. Reclaim your power and stand your ground. Shalon, like I said, Shalon, your story is so incredible. I cannot wait for the listeners to listen to this incredible podcast episode, which is going to be launched on Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern time. So make sure that you all tune in. And Shalon, right, reclaim your power, and you stood in your truth today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is a tearjerker. I'm telling you, this is bringing, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, nothing to be sorry about. I cannot imagine anyone like you going through what you went through. But like I said, reclaim your power and stand your ground. And there's a quote here that I would like to read that a friend of mine shared with me this morning. Your power is limitless. Let this quote be your daily reminder to stand tall. So empower yourself. And we are meant to live a long life. Life is worth living. Life is worth living. So thank you, Shalon. Blessings. When you came to me and you wanted to share your story, I said, that's it. And when I read your bio, I said, that's it. That's it. That's it. So everyone, thank you. Yeah. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Shalon. Any final words before we end the broadcast?
Everyone, just you get this one life this time, and do it right. You know, I wasted a lot of my youth because I didn't know my identity or who I was. I didn't know how powerful that I could be. I'm finding so many hidden talents that I didn't even know I had. And I'm finding that I am worth loving and that I am worth existing. And when you find that part of yourself, you will be liberated. Don't let anyone take your power from you. That's all I have.
That's right. That's right. You are 100% right. Don't let anyone take your power away from you. So, with that being said, we are going to end this live broadcast, which is in my private Facebook group. But this will be live on my YouTube channel on Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. So please go like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. And it will be set as a premiere on Wednesday morning. And we will also, this episode will be live on my podcast, Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. So please like and subscribe on Spotify, Google, Apple, and all the other live streams. And subscribe to my newsletter. So, want to continue to receive resources that will equip and empower you on your healing journey. Stay in the now, with news and promotions. And I'm going to be traveling out to the West Coast, to Southern California, on the first weekend in December. I will be speaking live at a Penthouse Mastermind event. So please stay tuned for more announcements. That's why I want you all to go to my website and like and subscribe to my newsletter, because there's going to be a lot of announcements coming, and I'm super excited to share that with you. But more this story, I cannot wait until it's aired live on Wednesday. So everyone have a beautiful day. Please hashtag value if you got value from this. Let us know what your thoughts are. Please comment and let us know what your thoughts are. And we will see you all on the next live stream. Have a wonderful day.